Huge earthquake hits Chile, sparks tsunami alert. A devastating magnitude 8.8 earthquake has struck Chile, toppling homes and buildings, collapsing bridges and spawning a tsunami that rolled menacingly across the Pacific Ocean. At least 147 people were killed in the strongest earthquake that hit the country in 50 years, and one of the strongest ever measured anywhere. Again, one of the strongest ever measured anywhere. Chileans near the epicenter were tossed about as if shaken by a giant. Local radio reported 100 people were missing in a collapsed building in hard-hit Concepcion, one of Chile's largest cities, with around 670,000 inhabitants. Firefighters were working to put out fires throughout the city, and most of the buildings in the city center were destroyed. At least 3 people were killed by huge earthquake-triggered waves that smashed into Chile's Robinson Crusoe Island. The U.S. Geological Survey said the earthquake struck 56 miles northeast of the city of Concepcion at a depth of 22 miles at 3:34 a.m., 1:34 a.m. Eastern Time. The earthquake shook buildings in Argentina's capital of Buenos Aires and was felt away as Sao Paulo in Brazil, 1,800 miles to the east. At least 23 aftershocks were reported, including one registering at 6.9 on the Richter scale. The earthquake came a day after another earthquake struck off the coast of Japan. Blazing buildings. TV Chile reported that a 15-story building collapsed in Concepcion, where buildings caught fire, bridges collapsed, and huge cracks opened up in the streets. Many cars turned upside down, lay scattered on one damaged highway bridge. Some residents looted pharmacies and a collapsed grains silo, hauling off bags of wheat, television images showed. In the town of Talca, some 65 miles from the epicenter, an Associated Press journalist said it felt as if a giant had grabbed him and shaken him. Phone lines were cut to many areas, meaning there was no word of death or damage for many outlying areas. Certainly, the toll will go much higher. In the capital of Santiago, 200 miles northeast of the epicenter, a car dangled from a collapsed overpass. The National Fine Arts Museum was badly damaged, and an apartment building's 2-story parking lot pancaked, smashing some 50 cars whose alarms rang incessantly. The jolt set off alarm sirens in Hawaii, Polynesia, and Tonga. Tahiti officials banned all traffic on roads less than 1,600 feet from the sea, and people in several low-lying island nations were urged to find higher ground. Hawaii could face its largest waves since 1964, according to the director of the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center. Urgent action should be taken to protect lives and property, the warning center said in a bulletin. All shores are at risk no matter which direction they face. Tsunami waves were likely to hit Asian, Australian, and New Zealand shores within 24 hours of the earthquake. The U.S. West Coast and Alaska, too, were threatened. There are reports that a tsunami caused by the quake caused serious damage to Chile's sparsely populated Juan Fernandez Islands. there was a series of waves that got bigger and bigger, which gave people time to save themselves, said a television reporter from the main island. Residents were evacuated from coastal areas of Chile's remote Easter Island, a popular tourist destination in the Pacific. San Diego's international airport was closed as the quake destroyed passenger walkways and shook glass out of doors and windows. In the moments after the earthquake, people streamed onto the streets of the capital, hugging each other and crying. Several hospitals suffered structural damage and were evacuated. Houses were really shaking. In the coastal region, huge waves rushed inland, sweeping cars full of people out to the ocean. This was a huge earthquake, one of the biggest ever recorded. There were blackouts in parts of San Diego, and communications were still down in the area closest to the epicenter. Chile has 3 alpine skiers representing the country at the Vancouver Games. Chile's athletes and coaches planned to skip the Olympics closing ceremonies in Vancouver, Canada, to get home as soon as possible. An earthquake of magnitude 8 or over can cause tremendous damage, the USGS said. The quake that devastated Port-au-Prince on January 12th was rated magnitude 7. According to a 2002 census, Concepcion is one of the largest cities in Chile, with a population of some 670,000. In 1960, Chile was hit by the world's biggest earthquake since records dating back to 1900. And again, a huge earthquake has hit the country of Chile, with tsunami alerts all throughout the Pacific Ocean. These are more signs of the end times, transition days. There is a transition going on. It is a process. And there are many different kinds of signs happening day by day all around the world. These are more signs.